In this age of rapid global change, intelligent men and women are becoming more and more aware of the precarious condition of the poorer countries of the world, of their peoples and their habitat. In a two-way process, we're discovering not only how much they need our immediate help, but also how much they have to give us in return. Among the organizations and the agencies at the cutting edge of this first world, third world interaction is ROKPA. Through this short film, based on one aspect of ROKPA's work, direct aid to the needy near the historic stupa at Boden in Nepal, we invite you to participate in the privilege of actually doing something of use, something that will contribute to a better future for us all. ROKPA, bringing help where help is needed. Surrounded by scores of temples and monasteries, the stupa at Boden is a place of pilgrimage for Buddhists from all over the world. It is one of Nepal's major tourist attractions. This has made it also a place where the destitute, the sick, the orphaned, and the abandoned gather to beg. Although they suffer all year round, the cold winter months are particularly difficult for all those living on the streets. This innocent childhood sleep is taking place on damp concrete, outdoors, in sub-zero conditions, more often than not on an empty stomach, and with only sacking for a blanket. Tomorrow, these children may be fighting each other for a scrap of food or a rag of clothing. The original intention of this particular ROKPA project was to provide food twice daily for all of the Boden beggars, be they Nepali, Indian, or Tibetan by origin. With the sympathetic help of the Tibetan Buddhist monks from Trangu Monastery and the invaluable support of the local authorities, a simple but effective temporary kitchen was set up. The Nepalese cooks hired were themselves in need. Coming from villages where crops had failed, they had desperate need of work to support their families. The simple, nourishing, warm food produced in the makeshift kitchen was carried the 50 meters or so to the stupa, where the beggars were waiting, hungry, in a line. Once at the stupa, the food was personally served, caringly, and with respect and friendship for these poor people. In the first year of aid, 25,000 meals were distributed to a whole range of people, some old and some remarkably young. ROKPA is a Tibetan word meaning help. Here we see ROKPA's founder, Akong Rinpoche, a Tibetan abbot and doctor, himself participating in the project. Lea Vila coordinates ROKPA organizations in various countries from her ROKPA headquarters in Switzerland, and personally guarantees that donors' contributions go directly into real aid with the tiniest minimum of overheads. The contact and trust established through this basic human gesture of giving food because there's real hunger led to a deeper perception of the difficulties suffered by the beggars. These included sickness, from simple everyday problems to infection, severe handicap, extreme malnutrition, such as the case with this lady, and leprosy. It also became clear that there was a need to come to the aid of young children living alone on the streets, fighting there for their daily existence in a dangerous and unhealthy microcosm, holding little hope for a future. Medical help was arranged wherever possible. Prakash, crushed 5 years previous by a vehicle, had been poorly patched together. He'd made his way on all fours to the stupa, where he's lived since. ROKPA has now had him fitted with braces adapted to his weight and height. When Ngawang appeared on the monastery steps one day, helpless and coughing blood, he was virtually dead from severe TB. With no one to support or feed him, no hospital was prepared to take him. Through ROKPA's insistence and funding, he was saved from certain and horrible death. Here we see him, 2 months later, a man with a hope for life he'd never dreamt possible. But how to help sweet beggar children such as these from ending up the same way? ROKPA has helped a few, and with your support could help many more. Ram, 12 years old, was on the streets because his family were too poor to keep him. They would have beat him if he'd gone home. For 1 year, he'd been begging at the stupa. Here, he promises to give up stealing, smoking, and drinking in return for a chance of a basic education, the literacy that will secure his future.
Finish. Promise. That hand. This one no good. Okay? He's schoolboy now.
ROKPA is supporting him at a simple boarding school. Kancha, 10, traumatized by his mother's death in a fire, begged with his father, an aged leper. ROKPA is also supporting him at the Samboda school, thanks also to the openness and kindness of Schoolmaster Tempa. Bidur, 11 years old, father dead. His mother remarried and threw him onto the streets. 11 months later, we found him half frozen, living under rags, and having just been beaten up. Like the other rescued children, he was deloused and cleaned up, and then taken to boarding school. Tsering, aged 13, is not only deaf and dumb, but also spastic. His mother is dead, his father an alcoholic who beat him. He's been on the streets 3 years. Despite our request, no school would have him. After much effort, we found him a place as assistant to a monastery cook. Now he has a skill to help his future. On the streets, he was protected by Pralat, who at 15 had been living rough for 5 years. ROKPA is supporting Pralat's education. BJ is an orphan aged 13. He'd been begging for 4 years. Where others would beg food, he begged for pencils and paper. ROKPA is fulfilling his desire to learn and giving him a chance in life. Here we see the children dancing at a little party we gave for them. Why should you help these children in a far-off land? The answer is simple. Because other than you, there is no one to help them. Besides this, we at ROKPA have experienced a tremendous privilege of being able to really do something of use. And we'd like you to be able to share in this, the most sublime of human experiences, to bring help where help is truly needed. This happy ending was only true for the handful of children you see here. Back at the Stupa, there are many others, and there will be hundreds of hungry mouths to feed each winter, and more. There is a specific need to bring help to the women and the girls begging. ROKPA is seeking land near the Stupa to build a place that will feel like home for all these people. A self-financing shelter offering medical care where they can learn a skill to be able to support themselves. A simple refuge that will be a better place to be than the filthy pavements where they have to sleep with mangy dogs. There are so many things to be done. But remember, each person helped is a whole life changed. And that is a priceless victory for the price of an everyday luxury. We particularly need your contributions to the general ROKPA Fund to enable us to act in critical situations on the spot in whichever way proves necessary. However much you give, that much we can put to use. Our organization is small, yet efficient, and the administrators work unpaid. If, like us, your heart has been moved by ROKPA's Nepal project, and you too would like to contribute your help to this or to ROKPA's other activities in India, Nepal, Tibet, and Europe, these are the coordinates of your local ROKPA representative. Thank you.